What is the secret weapon in a local business's marketing toolkit?
Hi, I'm your host, Caitlin Shanuda, and this is Foot Traffic Framework.
Hi, I'm Caitlin. I'm a local business marketing coach, and today we are going to talk about email marketing, which is one of the most effective, least expensive, and best returning marketing channels available to a local business. Email marketing is not a new concept, is it? We have been using email to market businesses for 25, 30 years, right? I remember being in high school. I'm not going to tell you how long ago and how excited I was to start getting emails at an old Hotmail address. And it did drive my behavior then, and it drives consumer behavior now. But there's a few things that we really need to know about email, or it becomes just more waste in your customers' inboxes. It can even drive people away from your business if it's not used correctly. And obviously, if it's something that is inexpensive but actually works, we want to get as much as we can out of it. So let's break down how to actually get results with email marketing. Okay, so first and foremost, email, just like nearly every other marketing channel out there, what we think about as email marketing has pretty much died. Okay. Consumers don't want newsletters. They don't want promotions. They don't want spam. They don't want to be emailed 6 times a day. This is what a lot of brands, both large businesses and small local businesses, are still doing. And most local business owners that I talk to are, really on the what I will call much, much too minimum of a scale when it comes to email marketing. Either they don't have an email list, even though they know they should. Like I hear that from business owners all day long. I should have an email list, or I have a scratch pad where I've been writing customers' emails down, but I'm not doing anything with it. It's your biggest asset, and we don't want to leave that sitting on your desk or on your cash wrap. So we've got to use it. And so then the second mistake that I see business owners making with email is they're just sending out a monthly newsletter. Here's what's happening in the store or in the restaurant or in the salon this month. Just wanted to kind of kick the tires and see if you guys still thought we were here. As a consumer, what are we doing with that? It's not really any more effective to send out an email newsletter than it is to slap a flyer on a wall and hope that enough people see it that it's going to drive someone into whatever's happening in your space this month. So when we think about email, there's a few very, very, very important things. First and foremost, it is not thinking about it as just another way to kind of like throw spaghetti at your customers and hope something sticks. We have to be very strategic and very targeted with how we are using it, what we're saying, and how we're getting people onto the email list. The worst thing that you can possibly do is to put someone on your email list and then send them content that they don't care about. That actually like kind of erodes your connection with your customer. Like they're going to unsubscribe, they're going to stop opening your emails, they're going to delete them. They're going to sit there and wait till you offer a really juicy discount, end of season sale, take 30% off everything. They might open that one. That's not what email's for. Email is to keep that connection and that conversation going with your customers. And basically, it is the cheapest and still most effective way to get them experiencing you when they're not physically in your space. So we have to think of it not as an informational tool or as something to try to sell to them where we're just talking about, products, services, discounts, what the event of the month is. That's not what email's for. Email is to keep that conversation going. We have to be very, very valuable content in their inbox. So how do we send valuable content? Well, there's 3 major components to a successful email strategy that works for a local business. Let's break them down. The first one is, how do we get them onto the email list in the first place? And I talk to business owners all the time, and nobody wants to be on your email list. Nobody wants to be on another email list. So we aren't asking them, hey, do you want to be on our email list? Because the answer is no. No one wants more email. No one wants to be on another list. No one is interested in that. It doesn't even matter if they totally love you. It doesn't matter if they're your mom, right? Like they don't want to be on your email list. But when we are getting their email information in exchange for something they find very valuable, now there's a very, very good reason for them to be on your email list. So it starts with giving them something they actively want in order to get their email address from them. That starts the relationship in the right way. They're already thinking of you very differently than like logging on to yet another website who is saying, take 10% off, enter your email address here. Nobody cares about that in today's environment, okay? We don't as consumers. So, we care more about keeping the spam out of our inbox, then we do about 10% off. So how do we get someone onto our email list? We have to give them something really, really interesting to them, something they actively want. When we are using our bullseye messaging correctly and we understand what's going on in our consumers' brains, when we understand what really makes them connected to our business and love the experience of the business, basically the way that we get them on email is to give them something that deepens that experience. So, for example, local clothing brand, and the owner is known as being just this denim whisperer, right? Like she can help you find your fit no matter what's in style this season, no matter your body shape. This is a random example, right? But something that somebody does really, really well in person in a local business. You get them onto the email list by I know that this was really, really interesting to you. Literally have an entire shipment of things that are going to be not exactly this, but I know they're going to fit you really, really well. I want to send you a personal style review when this comes in. Is that okay with you? Because I know you really love this. Do you see how that's different than would you like to be on the email list? So, part one, we have got to give them something that is actionable. It is very, very interesting to them, and it is truly valuable, something that you can give them that no one else can in exchange for their email. And every single customer that comes in needs to be given an opportunity for that, whether they buy or not, right? Because if they're coming in, they're loving, they're browsing, they're saying, hey, I got to come back, we should have something to offer them that keeps that connection going when they're not standing in front of us. And that happens in email. Okay, so once you have them on your email list, now what do we do? Part two is to make sure that we are truly adding value to their lives with this email. And if they're loving what they saw in person in store, then they can and should love what they're seeing in their inbox. So it is an extension of the in-store, in-restaurant, in-salon experience. And by that, I mean, we're not talking about products and services, never talking about products and services, right? I stand on the soapbox all the time. If you're talking about products and services, you're a commodity to your customers. They are going to look and compare that commodity against everywhere else that they might be able to buy something like it. So it's just literally an extension of the experience that they're having when they're in person with you. And so this needs to be frequent, it needs to be valuable, and it needs to be very, very what I call sticky and succinct. So what does sticky mean? It's something that literally stands out and kind of sticks in their brain. We are using our bullseye messaging again here. So things that they care about, not products and services. It can be product and service related because they're on your email list. They've, in essence, given you permission to market to them, but we'll still lose them if it just sounds salesy or cheap or generic or spammy or anything else, right? So it has to be something like if you're showcasing products and services, we are talking about the things that your customers already really, really love about those products and services. We're talking to them in their own words about things that matter. To use my example, business owner who's like the denim whisperer, it's talking about trends possibly, but as it relates to the specific lifestyle of our VIP customer. Like this is the most amazing fit of the season because it literally goes from the boardroom to the ball game to date night with your husband, right? And showing her how it's valuable in her life. Just keeping that connection going, right? Like that conversation that you would have with a customer in store. We're not saying, hey, buy this, hey, buy this, hey, buy this, hey, buy this. We're not saying, come to this event, come to this event, come to this event, come to this event, right? Like we're not hammering them with something that feels like it's pushy. We are literally finding out more about how they are going to be utilizing what we sell, and we are giving them that customer service that gets them to buy from us. That's what happens in store. That's how we think about email. And so third thing is execution, right? Like first thing is getting them onto the email list. Second thing is really thinking about how we keep that a value add in their life. Third thing is we need to know how often and exactly how to show up in their inbox so that this actually works. And it's not once a month. It's also not 5 times a day, right? Like we are not some big box brand that sends out 5 emails about their 40% off sale just to try to get somebody to click and buy, right? Like that is not what an email strategy for local business looks like. So what we need to do is I recommend, with almost no exceptions, 1 email a week because that is enough to stay front and center with your customers and it doesn't feel too much for a customer. If you are adding value to their inbox and they're knowing that they can look for you with Thursday's email, for example, they're looking forward to that. That is actually something that stands out that they are very excited for because it's not all the spam that they're otherwise getting. They're getting the denim whisperer in their inbox every Thursday when it's value add, right? So at least once a week, and we need to make sure it's, a once a week email blast. And I say blast, I'll explain what that means in a minute, with a retarget to non-open so that as many people as possible can have the value in the inbox that you're sending. So that's thing one. Just like write that down. This has been true for years with clients. It is still true. It is something that is, again, like secret weapon in your business if you're just consistently having that conversation with them and they're looking forward to it and they understand that something really cool is probably coming their way. Not every single person's going to get off their couch every single week, but if you're keeping that mindset of like, there's something that I'm going to be interested in from my local business this week, sooner or later, because you're top of mind, they will get off the couch. This is another video. I'm not going to go into this here, right? But like if people have to see you 11.6 times every time they purchase, we need to be everywhere. And we also need to have valuable content. This is what email fulfills. So one email blast a week with a retarget so that as many people as possible can see it. And then the other thing when it comes to execution and why newsletters don't work, right? Like we don't want a whole bunch of things that they have to read through. Consumers' attention spans are very short these days. One email, one idea, once a week. Okay, so what do I mean by one email, one idea? If you're running an end of season sale, that's its own email. You can actually send more than one email a week if you have more than one thing to say. You should be sending more than one email a month because I hope that you have more than one thing to say. If you have an event, that's one email. If you have a sale, that's one email. If you have something very valuable about ways to style this season's trends, that's one email. If you have sweaters that you know your customers are going to love and it's cold that week and you know that maybe they need them, that's one email. Okay. So I want you to think about, the products and services that you sell as it relates to adding value to your customers' lives. Like, how are you selling them when they're coming in and they're experiencing you in person? We're just extending that conversation in your email. So getting them onto the email list by offering them something very, very valuable in exchange for their email. We are utilizing one email a week with one idea to keep that conversation going and really, really start to compound the effects of this secret weapon for local businesses. When you do it this way and you think about it as a connection builder, it eclipses the return on investment of literally every other marketing platform out there because you get good at this. You can spend, less than an hour a week on email, and it's the one thing that drives more and more returning customers compared to every other platform. So outside of, the ads that we use to raise awareness and get new customers in, email is the secret weapon that actually takes your business from a place of, kind of scrambling for every customer that we get to compounding the returning customers and your profit and your sales over time because it is a connection builder that keeps them interested in your business and coming in more and more and more often. If you want to learn the specifics of exactly how to do this for your business, of course, this is what I teach as a local marketing coach. Please connect with some of my free resources, links down below. Join my Skool group where I'm going to show you exactly how to do this and how to think about your messaging strategy so that this is something that is effective. And then, of course, book your free 15-minute call with my team. We are here not to sell you anything, but to connect you with resources that are going to help you with your specific business and situation. So again, join my free Skool group, book your free 15-minute call, keep your credit card in the freezer. We are not going to sell you anything on this call. We're just going to help you with the specifics of what you need to make this a secret weapon in your business.